There was only 4 pages of real magic left after the last reading. I'll play you my recording of them after this. The Buddha and the Badass. Reading number 1 by Vishen Lakhiani. The Buddha and the Badass. The secret spiritual art of succeeding at work. Buddha, the spiritual master. Badass, the change maker. You have both inside you. Oh, whoops, I'm not recording this. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. I gotta make my recording of this. The Buddha and the Badass by Vishen Lakhiani. Reading number 1. The Buddha and the Badass. The secret spiritual art of succeeding at work. The New York Times bestselling author of The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. That's a great book. I love that book. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. It's another one of Vishen Lakhiani's great books. Buddha, the spiritual master. Badass, the change maker. You have both inside you. Once awakened, they can transform the way you work, live, and build your empire. Uncover your soul prints. Attract your allies. Become unfuckwithable. Activate your inner visionary. Build a unified brain. Upgrade your identity. Bend reality. Yeah, he talks about some of those things in The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, which is another great book. Let's get going on this one. The Buddha and the Badass. Forget hustling. This book will disrupt your deeply held beliefs about work, success, and indeed life. Have you ever noticed how some people have all the luck at work? They generate ideas on the fly. They magnetically attract the right people. Others crave joining their missions, their companies, their teams. They move with fluidity and ease, nailing projects with a smile on their face and getting the coveted raises and promotions. These superstars are often able to get in the zone, displaying remarkable focus and creativity. They are masters of relationships, forging close ties with their teams and everyone around them. When they do business, it's about win-win, and one of the most unique qualities they seem to have is remarkable luck. Things just go easy for them. It seems as if the universe bends in their favor. This book is about how to join them. No matter your station, you possess incredible unique powers. It's a modern myth that hard work and hustle are the paths to success. Inside you is a soul. And once you unleash it fully into the domain of work, magic happens. Awakening the Buddha and the Badass inside you is a process that will disrupt the way you work altogether. You'll gain access to tools that bend the very rules of reality. The Buddha is the archetype of the spiritual master, the person who can live in this world and also move with an ease, grace, and flow that comes from inner awareness and alignment. The Badass is the archetype of the change maker. This is the person who is out there creating change, building, coding, writing, inventing, leading, and disrupting the status quo. Once you integrate the skill sets of both, You will experience life at a different level from most people. You will operate from a space of bliss, ease, inspiration, and abundance. The Buddha and the Badass will show you how. Another author of the New York Times bestseller, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, and founder of Mind Valley, Vishen Lakhiani has turned his own life and company into his research lab. He's codified everything he's learned into the how-to steps in this book. The Buddha and the Badass teaches you how to master your work and your life. Whether you're launching a startup, at the helm of a major organization, or just beginning your first job. It's for someone who's pouring their energy into a job that doesn't feed their soul, or conversely, for someone who has an incredible vision for their company but can't figure out how to expand it to a world-changing level. Okay, it just talks a little bit about Vishen Lakhiani on the back. Okay, let's just read it now. Vishen Lakhiani is the founder and CEO of Mind Valley, a personal growth education empire with more than 2 million students, which teaches revolutionary success systems for mastering life via online learning platforms, storytelling and filmmaking, and live events. He is the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, which has been translated to more than 20 languages. Vishen is now expanding Mind Valley's presence globally with the aim to bring its teachers, tech, and programs into 100 national school systems and every company in the Fortune 500 within the next few years. Vishen.com, Vishen.com. Okay. Let's see what year this book was published. The Buddha and the Badass. The Secret Spiritual Art of Succeeding at Work was published in 2020. Gives props to his family. Oh, that's nice. And for his team at Mind Valley. And all the amazing authors and students across the world who we live to serve. Contents. Before you begin, introduction, part 1, Becoming Magnetic, Go Inward to Attract Outward. Chapter 1, Uncover Your Soul Print, page 25. Chapter 2, Attract Your Allies. Part 2, Finding Your Power, the 4 elements that transform work and amplify results. Chapter 3, Spark Deep Connections, page 81. Chapter 4, Master Unfuckability. Chapter 5, Make growth the ultimate goal. Chapter 6, Choose your mission wisely. Part 3, Becoming a Visionary, Merging the Buddha and the Badass to Change the World. Chapter 7, Activate your Inner Visionary, page 197. Chapter 8, Operate as One Unified Brain. Chapter 9, Upgrade Your Identity, page 253. Sources, Acknowledgements, Index. Before you begin, know that this book may challenge some of your deeply held beliefs about life. I always write about a topic with the intention to disrupt. In other words, to wedge new ideas into your mind and between the normal stream of thoughts you run on autopilot. Awareness sets you free. New ideas that you, italicized, never even had an inkling of are gateways to becoming a bigger, better, more powerful version of yourself. And that benefits not just yourself, also your family, your community, and the world. My friend, the great philosopher Ken Wilber, popularized the importance of worldviews in his work on integral theory. You can simplify his work and determine that the readers of this book will fall in one of the 4 following worldview categories. Depending on your worldviews, certain aspects of this book will appeal to you and others might affront you. You could be a rationalist, in which case you'll love the business ideas in this book, but scoff when I speak of the magic of the mind, intuition, or listening to your soul. You could be a traditionalist, in which case you'll love anything that reminds you of your spiritual beliefs, but may feel threatened when I talk about questioning culture and traditional rules. Or you could be a green, which means you might also be a spiritual junkie and you'll love the talk of magic, but maybe dread the sections on taking action and running a business. Finally, you might be viewing this from the integral level. This means you are open-minded and can integrate all these worldviews without feeling your ego is threatened, by picking and choosing what resonates with you. This is the most productive way to read this book. That's because this is not a traditional book on entrepreneurship or business. The world is changing fast. When I started out teaching meditation in 2003, I had to hide my career from friends. Today, meditation companies have valuations of over $1 billion. And today, when I meet with the upper echelon of people in government, sports, Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and business, they privately share their deep spiritual beliefs and how they no longer see their work and their career from a strict material point of view. We're evolving, people. We're evolving. Yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep going, evolve. Many have gone on record to publicly share this. My appreciation to the R&B star Miguel, who spoke in Billboard magazine about using my 6-phase meditation before his concerts. I definitely incorporated a lot of his 6-phase meditation, which I learned from the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, into my guided meditation techniques. A lot of, okay, let me see if I can remember, but it's like, I'm trying to remember how he did it. I know part of it has to do with forgiveness. Part of it has to do with, when I think about people who you forgive, who you want to forgive right now, your perfect day. Part of it has to do with thinking about your perfect day today. And I don't remember the rest of it right now. Whatever. Meditation, okay. R&B star Miguel, who spoke on Billboard magazine about using my 6-phase meditation before his concerts. More on this in Chapter 5. And to Tony Gonzalez, the famous football star, for doing the same in countless interviews. Also to Bianca Andreescu, who, after beating Serena Williams in the U.S. Open at the age of 19, endorsed my work and book to the press as a tool she used. Billionaires and game-changing entrepreneurs are talking about some of the controversial ideas from this book in private, and my goal is to make this conversation more public, because now is the time. And so this book is designed to disrupt the way you see the world and to give you the tools to shift the world through cognitive changes in your mind. In short, it creates a transformation. Once you see the patterns this book unveils, you cannot, quote, unsee them. Depending on your worldview, you will either love this book or hate this book. That's by design. It's because we grow through discomfort or insight, but never through apathy. You may have found this book in the business section at a bookstore, though, honestly, I don't know if it truly belongs in that section. Indeed, this book is about the way we work today, because the way we work is utterly broken. But let me warn you that this book is not about business in any conventional sense. It's about transforming the way you work from the inside out, and how that internal change can ripple out to change the world. So what is this book? It's about the mastery of your work and your life. Whether you're launching a startup, at the helm of a major organization, or only starting your first job, it's for someone who's pouring their energy into a job that doesn't feed their soul, or conversely, for someone who has an incredible vision for their company but can't figure out how to expand it to a world-changing level. My first book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, accidentally became a Bible for athletes across the world because it explored performance. This book explores teamwork, running a business, and making a dent in the universe. I'd like it to be a Bible for changing the nature of work. New heading: Disrupting the Rules. Bullshit rules. If you know me already, you understand that's what I'm about. We all live by a set of rules that are conditioned into us. These beliefs are fire hose into our psyches by our parents, teachers, culture, governments, and the media. In The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, I created a name for these beliefs. BRULES. It stands for bullshit rules. They're all around us. And when we don't question them, they trap us. They can rob us of a fuller version of life that we could be tapping into. Now it's time to disrupt your long-held rules around work. Why? Well, because if you're the average person in the developed world, you spend 70% of your waking hours there. And if you're the average person, you're also miserable at your job because of these rules, which is simply not an acceptable state of affairs for your one shot at life. More on that later. Now, I'm not a business consultant, but I was once a struggling entrepreneur with a penchant for questioning rules. As I experimented with disrupting some of the traditional rules on how work was meant to function, I created a business, workplace, and life that is beyond extraordinary. My research lab was my own life and company, and I've codified everything I've learned here into how-to steps. I've learned that when work is tuned to what we're passionate about, it ceases to be work. What you must understand is that no matter your station, you possess incredible, unique powers that you must learn to use. Hard work and hustle as a path to success are a modern myth. Inside you is a spirit and a soul that many of us refuse to unleash into the domain of work. But this is a rule. When we bring an awakened mind to work, magic happens. Now let's go deep about the word magic. Some of the ideas I share in this book are in the realm of the spiritual. In other words, they cannot yet be proven by science. I will speak of the soul, intuition, synchronicity, and bending reality. Keep an open mind. If you think these ideas are BS, remember that men like Steve Jobs, whom we see as one of the greatest creators and CEOs of all time, embraced them. If these ideas really don't resonate with you, hand this book over to someone who may benefit, because getting these ideas into practice matters. We need to fix work. We are operating inside old, obsolete models. According to Gallup, 85% of workers hate their job. Most people are living their lives doing work they don't love, to earn money to afford to live lives they don't love. Far worse, they lie to themselves about it. They pretend they semi-enjoy what they do to earn a paycheck. An alien species watching planet Earth would think, what is wrong with these creatures? From a global perspective, that means around 5,369 people across the world die every hour, every day, without having fulfilled their highest potential and experienced their deepest joy. Most of us put off our own happiness and dreams until tomorrow in an attempt to just stay afloat today. But that's a catastrophic mistake. The inescapable truth is this: time runs out. If you're reading this book, I would wager you have incredible aspirations. You dream of writing books, building successful companies, running for office, or making a difference in your community. So don't waste your time. It's your most precious commodity. When it comes to work, it's time to discard whatever doesn't empower you. This is your companion guide. New heading: How this book was written. Like my first book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, this book has some unique learning methodologies embedded in it. My company, Mindvalley, specializes in human transformation, and so I care about making learning stick. These are the methods that ensure that these ideas will stay with you and take root in your life. Exercises. I share tools, techniques, thought experiments, and exercises throughout the book, and then compile each chapter's tools and techniques at the end of the chapter for easy reference. I want you to engage with the book, take notes, write in the margins, and make it your own. Or just take notes on this recording that I'm making right now. Pause it. Back up 10 seconds. Hit the back arrow, whenever. Play it back at a higher speed if you want. Make it your own. It's on YouTube, so you can refer back to it whenever you want. I also call our stealth leadership techniques to adapt certain ideas to the worker who isn't currently leading their own company or team. If you're not leading a team, but are a member of one, I share subtle ways to create change around you without your having to possess a formal title. Stories. During the process of writing this book, I gathered stories from some of the most incredible minds today. I'm eternally grateful that my company, Mindvalley, has allowed me to become an intersection point for incredible leaders, and my interviews and work with hundreds from the fields of business, science, technology, spirituality, education, and relationships form the basis of my success and the ideas I share in this book. In writing this book, I spent 2 weeks masterminding with Richard Branson and other business leaders on Necker Island. I spoke on stage at events alongside Michael Beckwith, Jay Shetty, and Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay. I sat down next to Marianne Williamson, Dave Asprey, Ken Wilber, Keith Ferrazzi, Chip Conley, and Shefali Sabri for candid interviews. There are too many incredible names to mention that have contributed to this book. I don't say this to brag. I attribute my success to their mentorship, and I am grateful to call many of them friends. These relationships have allowed me to connect the dots, see patterns, and build new codes for how to achieve unorthodox levels of success. I don't believe in guruship. I believe no one has all the answers, including me. So All my books integrate theories and ideas from multiple minds. So, I'll be sharing personal stories from the intimate conversations I've had with many of the greatest visionaries of our time. This book is an homage to the knowledge they've shared with me, as well as the lessons I've learned from my own team, many of whom have influenced me in many ways they'll never know. My voice and story. The way I write is candid. I don't hold back. I shared stories here that I'm nervous to tell. But I don't mind telling on myself to drive home the point that anyone can do what I've done. I quit Silicon Valley in 2003 to become a meditation teacher. I then started Mindvalley with $700 with no VC funding or investors. He's not mentioning the Silicon Valley. He just says he's become a meditation teacher. What was that one book he loved? I can't think of it right now. Anyway, whatever. I'll probably mention what I'm trying to think of. Mind technique. The Silva mind technique. He's not mentioning the Silva mind technique. I have that book. Well, I've listened to like half of it so far. I don't know why I'm just not doing the rest of it anyway. He says, I quit Silicon Valley in 2003 to become a meditation teacher. I then started Mindvalley with $700 with no VC funding or investors. And I'm writing this book. As I'm writing this book, we're preparing to go for an IPO. And it didn't happen without serious hurdles. My success started in a back room of a warehouse in a ghetto neighborhood in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If you're wondering where that is, I'm not surprised. Expect personal stories and a writing style that is raw and vulnerable, as if you and I are seated across the table from one another. Online experience. For people who want a deeper dive into the concepts in this book, I will share links to additional resources along the way. As a computer engineer at heart, I created several online tools to help you with the transformational journey this book might lead you on. You'll find hours of additional videos and trainings for specific sections of this book to make it easier to bring some of the ideas here back to your life. Definition of entrepreneur. An important note about the use of the word entrepreneur. To me, the word entrepreneur does not mean you're running a company. You can be working for a company or a part of a group like NASA and still have the entrepreneur mindset. It means you're innovating, creating, honing your skills, and contributing to the world, and not merely spinning a hamster wheel to earn a paycheck. When I refer to the term entrepreneur in this book, it applies to everyone who's choosing to make a difference in the world by doing their best work, whether you're self-employed, a contractor, running $1 billion company, or working for a company. Connect with me. I love connecting with my readers. I primarily use Instagram and share new experiences, stories, and ideas there regularly. I would love to connect with you on that platform. But just in case, I'm occasionally on Facebook and Twitter too. Instagram.com/Vishen, Vishen. Facebook.com/Vishen VISHENLAKHIANI. Twitter.com/Vishen. My websites. To learn more about me and my work, mindvalley.com, Vishen.com. Introduction. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment. This is a quote from Terence McKenna. The chapter Introduction begins with a quote from Terence McKenna. Quote, nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done. By hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed. End quote. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Yeah, you have to encourage more, starting with yourself. You have to encourage yourself. Time to jet. Time to take off by encouraging yourself more. Does he talk about daily disciplines, simple daily disciplines, and building on those and stacking on stuff? Your next most important thing, the one thing. Let's find out. In 2019, Vishen says, I found myself in the Caribbean attending a 4-day mastermind for entrepreneurs. It was on a gorgeous island with white sand beaches and sunsets to die for. One morning following an early session, I went outside to get some fresh air. I sat down on a wooden bench overlooking a rocky cliff. The ocean was calm, a mirror with tiny imperfections. Strips of light from the morning sun burned through a thin cloud layer and reflected across the expanse of glassy water. I took a moment to take it all in, then turned to my iPhone. I pulled my AirPods from my pocket, stuck them in my ears, and started going through the hundreds of messages from my team on the other side of the world. I was completely consumed with my phone when a woman approached me. Quote, I've seen you all day today and yesterday on your phone. You must be really working hard. What would make your day better? She asked. She was in the same business mastermind. Oh, thank you, I said. But my day is already perfect. Nothing can make it better. She seemed stunned. Were you asking me that because you saw me on a phone here on this beautiful beach, I asked. Yes, she said. In that moment, I understood where the woman was coming from. She saw me on a beach glued to my cell phone. I could understand why she thought I needed saving from my, quote, work. And truth be told, there was a time once when I did need, quote, saving. My job and personal life were once separate. Work was what I had to do to pay the bills to survive. But that's not the case anymore. Let me explain. I totally understand you, I said, but I'm not working. I'm communicating with my team. And my work is so inspiring that it never feels like work. I love my team. Communicating with them is like talking to my friends, I explained. I held up my iPhone. And this isn't a phone. To me, it's a portal to love. It's a portal of love. I'm doing what I love right now. Communicating with the people I love. Writing about what I love. Sharing on social media with more people around the world who I love. Sending cheesy videos to friends and family I love. I'm not disconnected. I'm deeply connected. When you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. So thank you. And I get your concern. And you're wonderful to check in on me. But I choose to experience this moment here on this cliff doing exactly what I'm doing now. It's what I love. Wow, she said. I think I just learned something there. I smiled and went back to my phone. Work wasn't always like this for me, but today my life has become the experience captured most eloquently in this LP Jacks quote, insert, italicized. The master in the art of living makes the... Let me start over. The master in the art of living makes little distinction between their work and their play, their labor and their leisure, their mind and their body, their education and their recreation, their love and their religion. They hardly know which is which. They simply pursue their vision of excellence at whatever they're doing, leaving others to decide whether they are working or playing. To them, they are always doing both. I replaced he and his with they and them a whole bunch of times in there. Anyone can have this. Working or playing. Always doing both. Working or playing. Always doing both. I like to call this networking through not working. Anyone can have this. Although for many it requires a total mindset shift. And that's what this book will do for you. First, you must stand in the belief that you can create a life where work doesn't feel like work. And you don't have to truly believe that yet. You must, though, be open to it. You have to at least believe that's possible for other people, even if you don't yet believe you can have it yourself at this point. This book will get you there. It's designed to have you see yourself in an entirely new paradigm. Second, you must understand the big fat bullshit rule about success. The false belief that you have to work harder than anyone else, to put more hours in. In other words, to hustle. Anyone who believes this buys into a lie that's simply not true. This book shows you how to go beyond the myth of hard work. You'll tap into a higher level of work where you'll access heightened states of consciousness that allow you to effortlessly glide through the world, that allow you to... This book shows you how to go beyond the myth of hard work. You'll tap into a higher level of work where you'll access heightened states of consciousness that allow you to effortlessly glide through the world, while creating impact. When you operate from these states, you will notice that you merge two beautiful states of being human. I call this the merger of the Buddha and the badass. The Buddha is the archetype of the spiritual master. That's bold-faced, so I'm going to read it twice. Whenever something's bold-faced, I'm going to read it twice. The Buddha is the archetype of the spiritual master. The person who can live in this world, but also move with an ease, grace, and flow that come from inner awareness and alignment. I'm not necessarily talking about the literal Buddha, i.e. someone who has achieved enlightenment, but instead someone who recognizes and uses the power of the world, quote, within us. I grew up in Southeast Asia in a family that practices Hindu and Buddhist traditions. I speak of the Buddhist with reverence and sought the advice of Buddhist spiritual teachers before choosing the title. This book, however, does not bring in any of the cultural or religious aspects of Buddhism, but deep scholars of the field will notice some similar worldviews within this book. The badass is the archetype of the change maker. The badass is the archetype of the change maker. This is the person who is out there creating change, building, coding, writing, inventing, leading, pushing humanity forward to bring life to new structures in the physical plane. The badass represents the benevolent disruptor. The person challenging the norms so we can be better as a species. To truly be a master of life, you want to integrate the skill sets of both. When you do, you live life at a different level from most people. 1. Bliss. Bliss. You'll find great joy in what you do. Work and play become one. 2. Immunity to overwhelm. Immunity to overwhelm. You're no longer burdened by thoughts of overwhelm. Multitasking becomes easy. 3. Relationships. Relationships. You're able to create a positive vibe and generate energy with the people you're working with. This means all relationships are win-win and all interactions are imbued with positivity and care. 4. Inspiration on demand. Inspiration on demand. You're able to tap into ideas, inspiration, and creativity on demand so that you become a source of innovation and creative output. 5. Abundance. Abundance. Whether it's financial or health, love, and life experiences, you start to see abundance emerging in all areas of your life. Financial or health, love, and life experiences. I like to say that abundance mainly comes down to these categories: health, wealth, relationships, experiences, and freedom. Six, Flow and ease. Flow and ease. Life flows almost as if it's blessed by luck and synchronicity. It almost feels as if you are held by a benevolent universe. 7. Bend reality. Bend reality. What you want comes to you with ease. You feel as if you are supported by the universe. These heightened states of awareness may sound mystical or spiritual, but they are real. All human beings can access them. Don't get me wrong, hustle has its place, but only for people operating at ordinary levels. Of the 7 traits I mentioned above, please take a pen and highlight, write down the top 3. Go back and watch it again, listen to it again, and write down the top 3 that you want to learn from this book. This simple action will help you gain even more out of this book. Pause for a moment and do this. It will make you read this book with a deliberate intention. Regardless of where you're at now, I want you to know this. You can experience life at an expanded level. And no matter where you might be in the stages of your business or career, the book is designed to give you new ways of discovering yourself and looking at the world that will cause a massive up-leveling in how you function. I know this from experience. It wasn't long ago that I was 32 years old, living in a bedroom in my parents' home, driving a Nissan March, and barely making $3,000 a month. This was in 2008. But today, as this book goes to press, I am blessed to run a multi-million-dollar empire that's transforming global education. And my life today would seem to be an unrealistic fantasy to my 2008 self. This book was published in 2020. So it only took him 12 years to do all he's done with Mindvalley. You can do that too. You can achieve whatever it is your soul was sent here to do. And in this book, I will share all the tools I've learned so I can support you to get there easier and faster than I did. Faster than 12 years? That'd be great. New heading, 10 years of experiments. In 2008, my company, Mindvalley, was an 18-person operation. We built websites and online courses for personal growth authors. I had no major hot product. To be honest, I was burning through $15,000 a month and running low on cash. My small team operated out of a small 3-bedroom house in a residential area. I don't want to do something like Mindvalley. I have different, okay, whatever, okay. I have different ambitions, you know. I'm working on different things. I don't want to have a website where you go and buy stuff from the website. That's not what I'm looking at. Well, okay. All right, let's just continue reading here. I had big dreams, but no idea how to get there. We were bringing in $250,000 a month in e-commerce sales from little shopping sites, but we were still losing money. If I kept burning money, my venture would soon be dead. As a result of this dilemma, I sank into a period of depression. I had a 1-year-old baby boy. I couldn't fail at this business. It was hard. Yet, what I did have in my favor was an obsession with personal growth. I was committed to constantly growing so that I could become the best version of myself. I picked up every book I could read, studied every author, and attended every personal growth seminar I could. My daily routine was grow myself, grow my business, repeat. We often don't pay attention to personal growth when it comes to business or work. Instead, we focus on business strategy, product innovation, and culture. Well, I tried that. I'd even given a huge chunk of my little business to a Stanford MBA so I could bring in the latest innovations in modern management. It did not help. But that wasn't all. I started Mindvalley in the United States as an immigrant. I couldn't get a work visa. I had to relocate the entire business to Malaysia, my country of birth. I'll share the full story in chapter 2. I envisioned Mindvalley as a globally recognized brand. Here I was, stuck in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This situation wasn't helping, and so I had no product, no money, and I was in a highly disadvantaged location. So I turned my focus on one singular objective: create the #1 place in the world to work. The exact story of why I chose that goal and how it emerged will be shared in chapter 2. I figured if I could nail this, everything else would come. The people, the talent, the product innovation, and the money. If I focused on creating such a great workplace, I would also enjoy my job more and have more time to thrive, grow, and love life. This obsession became the Mindvalley experiment, and through it all, I discovered the principles that make work a playground of innovation, productivity, creation, and joy. But more than that, these principles create a new type of employee or entrepreneur. The person who has merged the badass and the Buddha of their nature and is able to create massive results with magical ease. In the ensuing 10 years, a lot has changed. Mindvalley's office is on Inc. magazine's 2019 list of the top 10 most beautiful offices in the world. As you'll learn soon, it started in the back room of a warehouse in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We've reinvented the office, and today it's a case study for workplace interior designers. Our work culture at Mindvalley is so attractive that people from around the world relocate to Malaysia to work from our headquarters. Mindvalley employs brilliant minds from 60 different countries. Walking into our office is like walking into the United Nations. Okay, I'm going to skip the rest of this Mindvalley advertisement, alright? I'm moving on. Mindvalley is a great place to work. Got it. There's 3 more bullet points on that. People love working there. Great, great, great. This is what makes the book unique. I created my own test lab, and despite being a disadvantaged location and not having access to capital, I'm building this company into $100 million in revenue using the ideas in this book. And I documented every painful lesson and brilliant aha so that you can replicate this success. Mentions ed tech, whatever that is. Okay, rarity. Raised between 75 and 300 million in funding, or whatever. New heading: The Magic and Power Within You. Here we go. The magic and power within you. I'm an engineer. I have a degree in electrical engineering and computer science. I've been a science nerd all my life. My mind is attuned to processes, numbers, code, and spreadsheets. But I've always been intrigued by people who seem to operate from a space beyond the hard data. They generate ideas on the fly. They magnetically attract the right people. They seem to be unusually, quote, lucky. Others crave joining their missions, their companies, their teams. And these types of if these types of workers are in an organization, they move with fluidity and ease, nailing projects with a smile on their face, getting the coveted raises and promotions. Many of them are able to handle multiple projects at once, juggling dual roles and responsibilities while making each project thrive. Much like Steve Jobs, juggling the roles of being a leader at both Pixar and Apple. Yet, the forces of overwhelm dare not touch them. These superstar workers are often able to get in the zone at ease, displaying remarkable focus and creativity, and producing great work at dizzying speeds, like how Elton John released 4 albums in a single year and became responsible for 5% of all the music sold globally that year. They are often also masters of relationships, forging close ties with their teams, their vendors, and everyone around them. They are intensely likable. When they do business, it's about win-win and not win-lose. I've witnessed this in charismatic leaders I've come to know, like Richard Branson of Virgin and Oprah Winfrey. One of the most unique qualities they seem to have is remarkable luck. Things just go easily for them. They are the ones who get the raises, the recognition, easy business success. It seems like the universe bends in their favor. Their personal lives thrive too. Many of them are in great health, and they just don't seem to age as fast. They have wonderful families, friendships, and connections with everyone around them. These men and women are not blessed by a particular genetic edge, like intelligence. Rather, they run their lives by a distinct set of rules. These superstars are embodying the qualities of both the Buddha and the badass. All human beings have access to these 2 qualities. And that's the journey this book takes on you. The myth of hard work. So why the obsession with hard work, hustle, and toil at the expense of everything else? Simply put, we don't understand what is normal. Our broken education systems teach us to survive at a job, but not to thrive as a human. Success is often defined as the amount of money in your bank account or the title on your business card. But people are far more complex than a title or position. To understand this, you must understand the 2 worlds we all live in. There's our outer world, which is shared with other humans. This is the world of jobs, careers, culture, rituals, and shared meaning with others. We place so much emphasis on regimenting and ordering this outside world. We have laws, rules, structures, and processes to govern our lives. But we also have an inner world. This is the world inside our own heads. It's our hopes, fears, aspirations, dreams, daily cascade of emotions. It consists of every doubt, every hope, every brazen thought, every secret desire of aspiration. Every secret desire or aspiration. And this world, for most people, is completely unstructured, messy, and disorganized. To attain balance, a person must bring order to this inner world. This requires knowing what this world consists of and having clear intentions for what you want to experience in this inner world before you go after getting them in your outer world. And this means refusing to buy into the lie of hard work. Replace it with this. This is italicized and centered. The soul's experience on earth, it's also capitalized. Most of the first letters of these words are capitalized. The soul's experience on earth is not meant for hard work and toil. It's meant for freedom, ease, and expansion. The soul's experience on earth is not meant for hard work and toil. It's meant for freedom, ease, and expansion. I've traveled the world meeting everyone from billionaires to spiritual teachers from the mountains of China, and I discovered that truly extraordinary people are not working, quote, hard, but rather are focused on nurturing certain inner states of being and identities that allow life to unfold for them effortlessly. New heading, changing our mental models of work. The first step on this journey is changing your mental models, the operating systems for your entire experience of life and work. A mental model is made up of your beliefs, and your beliefs are the master switch for your life. That's because reality is subjective. In 1977, the famous physicist David Bohm lectured at Berkeley. An excerpt from his speech was later published in the book The Quantum and the Lotus. The book's called The Quantum and the Lotus by Matthew Richard and Trinh Nguyen, where he offers a beautiful formulation of the interplay between our beliefs and what we experience as reality. Inserted, italicized, and centered. Reality is what we take to be true. What we take to be true is what we believe. What we believe is based upon our perceptions. What we perceive depends upon what we look for. What we look for depends upon what we think. What we think depends upon what we perceive. What we perceive depends upon what we believe. What we believe determines what we take to be true. What we take to be true is our reality. End quote. In short, reality doesn't really exist. We make it all up, all the time. And you can bend reality. You can shift it and mold it and play with it. It's quite fun. When you get it right, work and life all become one. A masterful act of living perpetually in play, as you seem to have superhuman abilities to juggle it all. The multidimensional human being is where I'll begin the next reading on page 12.
The Buddha and the Badass by Vishen Lakhiani. Reading number 1. The Buddha and the Badass. The secret spiritual art of succeeding at work. The New York Times bestselling author of The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. That's a great book. I love that book. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind is another one of Vishen Lakhiani's great books. Buddha, the spiritual master, badass, the change maker. You have both inside you. Once awakened, they can transform the way you work, live, and build your empire. Uncover your soul prints.
Okay.
Attract your allies. Become unfuckable. Activate your inner
There's
visionary.
that recording.
Build a unified brain. Upgrade
Now,
your
as
identity.
promised,
Bend reality.
here is the rest of Real Magic that I didn't get to before.
Real Magic 26. How you can create a miracle in our world. Real Magic by Wayne Dyer. Conclusion. Reading number 26. How you can create a miracle in our world. In all that I have written in these pages about creating real magic, nothing is more important than your coming into contact with the higher part of yourself. At first, you will very likely reject this notion of yourself as a miracle worker in the outside realm of real magic. Yes, as William James once wrote, quote, a new idea is the first, quote, a new idea is first condemned as ridiculous and then dismissed as trivial until finally it becomes what everybody knows, end quote. Many will consider the idea of performing miracles as ridiculous or impossible and will continue leading lives that reflect their beliefs. Increasingly, however, people are believing in their own divinity and trusting in the divine wisdom that created them. They are helping to create the spiritual revolution that is now occurring. More and more people are using their invisible thoughts to visualize a better, safer, cleaner, more responsible, more loving world. They are making an impact on the political, ecological, and spiritual realms of our planet. They know the wisdom to be found in the following words of Chief Seattle, who in the 1800s wrote a letter in response to the government's offer to purchase tribal land. Read Chief Seattle's letter and consider how we have treated the environment we inherited from our forefathers. His words are probably more relevant today than ever. Insert. The president in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land. But how can you buy or sell the sky, the land? The idea is strange to us. If we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, how can you buy them? Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every meadow, every humming insect, all are holy in the memory and experience of my people. We know the sap which courses through the trees as we know the blood that courses through our veins. We are part of the earth and it is part of us. The perfumed flowers are our sisters. The bear, the deer, the great eagle. These are our brothers. The rocky crests, the juices in the meadow, the body heat of the pony and man all belong to the same family. The shining water that moves in the streams and rivers is not just water, but the blood of our ancestors. If we sell you our land, you must remember that it is sacred. Each ghostly reflection in the clear waters of the lakes tells of events and memories in the life of my people. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. The rivers are our brothers. They quench our thirst. They carry our canoes and feed our children. So you must give to the rivers the kindness you would give any brother. If we sell you our land, remember that the air is precious to us, that the air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. The wind that gave our grandfather his first breath also receives his last sigh. The wind also gives our children the spirit of life. So if we sell you our land, you must keep it apart and sacred as a place where man can go to taste the wind that is sweetened by the meadow flowers. Will you teach your children what we have taught our children? That the earth is our mother. What befalls the earth befalls all the sons of the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to man. Man belongs to the earth. All things are connected, like the blood that unites us all. Man did not weave the web of life. He is merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. One thing we know, our God is also your God. The earth is precious to him, and to harm the earth is to heap contempt on its creator. Your destiny is a mystery to us. What will happen when the buffalo are all slaughtered, the wild horses tamed? What will happen when the secret corners of the forest are heavy with the scent of many men and the view of the ripe hills is blotted by talking wires? Where will the thicket be? Gone. Where will the eagle be? Gone. And what is it to say goodbye to the swift pony and the hunt? The end of living and the beginning of survival. When the last red man has vanished with his wilderness and his memory is only the shadow of a cloud moving across the prairie, will these shores and forests still be here? Will there be any of the spirit of my people left? We love this earth as a newborn loves its mother's heartbeat. So if we sell you our land, love it as we have loved it. Care for it as we have cared for it. Hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land for all children and love it as God loves us all. As we are part of the land, you too are part of the land. This earth is precious to us. It is also precious to you. One thing we know, there is only one God. No man, be he red man or white man, can be apart. We are brothers, after all. End quote. This consciousness Chief Seattle so lovingly describes is available to you to share and expand with your thoughts. You, one person with a vision, are like a pebble in a stream, moving ever outward to infinity, impacting on all who come into contact with that ripple, which creates the spiritual world I believe in so strongly. You make all the difference in the world. Your presence here is a divine necessity, perfect and purposeful. Your inner silent and visible mind is the director of your world, and the world you find yourself immersed in. This is your miracle making in action. These words of St. John of the Cross, found in, italicized and capitalized, The Perennial Philosophy by Aldous Huxley, should give you confidence in your ability to produce real magic. Insert. God does not reserve such a lofty vocation, that of mystical contemplation, to certain souls only. On the contrary, he is willing that all should embrace it, but he finds few who permit him to work such sublime things for them. There are many who, when he sends them trials, shrink from the labor and refuse to bear with the dryness and mortification, instead of submitting, as they must, with perfect patience. End quote. You will see a miracle-laden world when you embrace, rather than shrink from, responsibility for creating it. All that you know of the world is in your mind, and you create the thoughts that occupy that inner space. There are many things that you can do on a daily basis to bring about the Eden that is your birthright. But whatever it is that you find yourself doing in the physical world, you must know that it is all driven by that divine invisible soul that has temporarily settled itself in your body. By aligning yourself with your spiritual side first, before your non-spiritual side, you will radiate out that peace that is within. You will see those who are still on the side of war and destruction as tests to determine your own resolve to not join that way of thinking. You will not be dissuaded from your mission just because others are not with you. You will stay focused on what you are for in all areas of your life. The bad news, the gossip, the emphasis in the media on tragedy and pessimism will not capture your attention. You will note these as areas for improvement, but your inner divine self will be noting also how many acts of healing, kindness, and friendliness outnumber those of suffering. You create a world of real magic when you alone decide to use your divine, miraculous inner intelligence to make it happen. It is within you and within all of us to be wise. If you see the world in this magical way, then you have created it. It is not illusional thinking. It is real for you, inside, in the only place that you can live. Here is Jehovah speaking through the mouth of his prophet, quote, "If I am here, everyone is here. If I am not here, no one is here," end quote. And so it is with you. You are the be-all and end-all of real magic in this world. As I approach the last paragraph of this book, it thrills me that I have been able to create this work on real magic from within my mind. I have been guided to write it throughout every stage of its development. It has been a magical journey for me. I live to radiate this miraculousness I feel within me, and I know that this inner voice is capable of creating real authentic magic in many forms. But even more than knowing the magic that I have created in my own personal life with my glorious family, I shiver inside with the awareness that it can make a difference in your life and in the entire physical world we are all immersed in. My closing quote on this subject comes from the ancient writer Philo, Philo. Insert. Households, cities, countries, and nations have enjoyed great happiness when a single individual has taken heed of the good with a capital G and beautiful with a capital B. Such men do not only liberate themselves, they fill those they meet with a free mind. End quote. You are that single individual becoming a spiritual being and taking heed of the good and the beautiful. You will indeed fill yourself and those around you with a new freedom in your minds. The freedom to create real magic.
The freedom to create real magic. Baby, we evolving. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Hey, look what I just found. Alright, look what I just found right here, ready? Vishen's third book. Guess what it's called? The 6-Phase Meditation. Okay, I just decided something. Give me this microphone. I'm not going to be reading these books on these posts anymore. I just thought of a better way to do this. So, I was like, I've been kind of wondering if these authors were going to have a copyright issue with me reading all of their words on these books. So I was thinking what I would do is read this, make my recordings on my own, like I do, and then summarize it on this video before I continued reading this one. And then I was thinking, why don't I just do the same thing with this one too? So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I decided that's what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read these books and summarize them on my posts here for you. Let's see how that goes for a little bit. See you next time. Enjoy life. That's why we're here.